3 o'clock, it's a football Monday, and you guys can tell me, how the hell is this happening? Lions offense, I mean, they were down every good player, not named Goff, Sewell, and Decker, and no problem. They went out and put up 45 points. Your defense gave up 41. Yes, there was a pick six, but you didn't force a punt. I mean, do you understand how ridiculous that is? And through 4 games, no one has ever given up more points than the Lions have in the history of this league. I mean, so we ask the question. I mean, we sit here and, like, obviously, Rico and I are Spartan fans. Or if you're a Michigan fan, you remember the critiques of Don Brown, who was bad 1 game a year against Ohio State. You wanted the man fired, right? We all want Scotty Hazelton.
Cover the slant, quick slant. Yeah.
Right, the crossing routes.
Yes.
We don't want Scotty Hazelton around, right? Okay. Well, how's Aaron Glenn any different? How did this defense get worse? Worse. And by the way, this is kind of the soft portion of the schedule quarterback-wise. Now next week, I'm sorry, but if you go out next week, you give up 30 points to Bailey Zappi and the Patriots, someone's losing the job. I don't give a damn. If you're 1-4 going to the bye week and the defense continues this trend of being the worst historically on a points-per-game basis, what are we doing here, guys? I know all the heat was on Jared Goff and the offense. Ben Johnson looks like a rising talent in the game as an OC. But if you're Dan Campbell, I don't want to hear that this is the 11 worst players to ever be assembled. It's just not.
Especially because Glenn was going to be that hot name. Everybody's going to want him to be a head coach.
Yeah, you know what he is now? He's Matt Campbell. Hope you enjoy Iowa State.
No, I don't think he's Matt Campbell because at least Matt Campbell, they're okay.
Are they?
They're okay. You're hurt right now.
I'm annoyed.
Iowa State hurt, Mike.
They are. Oh, boy, that'll be in the weekend report. Don't you worry. We'll do that tomorrow.
I feel like the court thinks, show me. Never mind. When they hold up that dial.
Let's go to Nev in Detroit, 97.1. What's up, Nev?
Hey, you guys are cracking me up. How you guys doing?
Hey, good, man.
If you told me the day before that the Lions were going to score 45 points, I would have bet my house, and I'd be currently homeless. It's one of those things where I have a certain level of apathy for the Lions, just being a Lions fan. You have to. But the thing is with this season, this one is stinging because there is an expectation now. But what's hilarious about it to me is it's going to be the most painful season because if you look at all of our losses, obviously, they're all 3 points, 4 points, 3 points. They're all going to be within a possession. They're all going to be close, and they're all just going to hurt. And the defense, so historically bad. I don't know. I look at the schedule. Every game now looks losable. Every single game.
Yeah, it's going to be hard because when you faced Jalen Hurts, and I think Lions fans felt a little bit better when you saw Jalen going out there and doing it to other teams. Okay, maybe he's up and coming. But then it was Kirk Cousins, and now it's Geno Smith. And, yeah, you haven't hit, to me, a top 15 quarterback yet, and these guys are tearing you apart right now.
How about this one? And TJ just texted me. And this isn't anything salacious. It's a really interesting stat. So credit TJ on this. He goes, Campbell has deferred the coin toss till the second half 10 times now. How many times have they scored on that opening drive of the second half? Let me help you.
I'm going to go with none.
5 punts, 2 fumbles, 2 picks. And yet they keep deferring. I mean, it's just not working. Maybe you take the ball. Your offense is really good. Your defense is ass.
You're right. Well, I guess
credit TJ for the stat.
I guess they figure if we can get one stop, then the offense will take over, and then we'll have it coming out of the second half. But you're right. Just start the game and play to your strengths.
And by the way, credit you just inviting TJ down to the postgame. Sounded great.
I'm glad he had a few minutes. I'm glad he made it home. So, he's more than welcome to show up anytime he wants.
Go to Jacob, 97.1. What's up, Jake?
Oh, good afternoon, guys.
Let's give you one.
So I watched that game in disgust yesterday, which I know you guys did too, but then I go online and see our fans' reactions celebrating that we scored 45. Wasn't the point yesterday to win, not score 45 and still lose?
Good God. That was the reaction of people? Are you kidding me?
Not everybody, but just reading some fans saying the defense will get better. And will it? Not this year unless they make a couple trades. And then I'm sorry, but Hawk had one nice game. I'm still not paying it.
No.
We were down our three best weapons, and then he became a good target. And then that 50-yard not touchdown pass, that 50-yard pass, he should have been pushed out of bounds after like 20 yards.
No, look, he had a big day. Part of it is target volume. Part of it is there was no one else available. But, Jacob, I'm with you. Look, I can't commit that type of cap dollars unless you're Kittle, unless you're Kelsey, unless you're Mark Andrews. And he's not those guys. Kyle Pitts would be another one based on just sheer athletic, alien type deal. But, Jacob, I'm with you. I'm happy he had a good game. I don't want Hawk to be bad. I don't want him to be a failure. But it's a lot like how I view the Giants with Saquon. I'm not paying a running back. Saquon is splendid. I'm not paying him.
Stop. Saquon is not just a running back. He is also a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm aware. I looked on in horror.
All the disrespect that you have for these people.
It's not.
He ran the Wildcat effectively.
Can we focus on Jacob's call, please, and not my emotions?
Well, I've only got one last thing to say, but Holmes is on notice. Campbell is on notice. As much as I like their draft, they are bleeding right now, and the injuries are only going to get worse. And next year Campbell, I could care less at this point, but Holmes, next year he has to nail that draft, and it's got to be a lot of defensive picks because the offense is there, and that's what makes this year hurt even worse. Because if we would have gotten one or two free agents on defense, we would be running away with the division, or at the very least a wild card spot, not the 7th seed. And I don't see the NFC getting any harder next year unless there's a lot of QB movement. But
Jacob, look, I think it's fair to say that there's pretty good odds the draft you just had will be the draft that makes or breaks you. If you blew the number 2 pick on Hutchinson, that's crippling. If you traded up for J-Mo and he's not a Tyreek Hill type presence, it's crippling. If the second-round pick in Paschal never pans out,
if your first
draft,
3 picks never really pan out.
Right. I mean, you had the ability to take essentially 3 of the top 40 players in the draft. So, yeah, Jacob.
And that's why that's why I'm willing to wait for next year, because really I don't think Hutch has help. And as much as I like Hutch, he's been non-existent.
Yeah,
His manners are god-awful. I almost don't count.
And Jacob, here's the deal. He can still turn this thing around in a heartbeat. He can still be a great player. I'm just saying through the first quarter of the season, it's looked like he was playing Georgia.
And it's just so disappointing because they have the offense. It's right there. And, of course, the defense can't stop anybody. And it's just how it goes.
Jacob, it's worse than that. It's just literally no one has given up more points in the history of the league. That's insane.
And they just played a team with the same strategy in the Eagles, and nothing changed. I know that they're down Walker, but the Seahawks do not have the weapons that the Eagles have.
Right.
And the Seahawks scored more, and I do not understand.
I know. No, Jacob, you can watch the game yesterday, and all jokes aside, none of it made sense. I mean, none of it. If Geno Smith completes 70% of his passes and they're all 5-yard throws, that makes sense. When that dude is dropping back and bombing you, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, you know what it felt like? It felt like whenever the Bears came here and it was Mitch Trubisky.
Right. Why can't we beat this guy? Why can't we beat this guy? This guy's terrible. Why can't we beat him?
Well, Geno, hey, he's reviving that career.
Is it wrong that I'm putting a lot of stock in how I feel about Dan Campbell and this regime in next week?
No.
If they go to New England and lose and get lit by a third-string quarterback, come on, man.
No, because that tells me if you're 1-4 and you look at the quarterbacks you just played, how in the world do you expect to win 5-6 games if you couldn't beat those guys? You haven't hit. Yeah, and right now, heck, the Trevor Lawrence, the Jacksonville game, which looked like an easy W, doesn't.
Oh, they'll beat the brakes off.
Right.
Are you kidding me? The way Jacksonville's playing? And yesterday, I know, where I think I beat by the Eagles. It's a torrential downpour in Philly. I kind of draw a line through it. All right, against everybody else, they have shown up. They should have beat Washington in the opener. They didn't. They rallied back, shut out the Colts, bombed the Chargers. Trevor Lawrence will rip you apart.
So, yeah, if Bailey Zappi.
Oh, come on, man. It can't happen. It just can't.
Are you serious?
No, I'm saying what I want to be true, not what I believe to be true. Okay. Tom, 97.1. What's up, Tommy?
Yeah, I just want to say the defense definitely was horrible. They couldn't get a field goal. I just don't see why they didn't pick, because all their draft picks were pretty decent with Jameson Williams, and I thought Aiden Hutchinson was going to be really good. But, why didn't they go for someone in the SEC? You know what I mean, on the defensive end? I mean, they don't.
Like who? I mean, realistically, look, I get it. He's been disappointing, but it's so early. But, all right, Tom, you throw it out there. You're like, nah, I wanted somebody else. Who?
I don't know specifically, but I'm just saying you got the Big Ten, you got the SEC. You're going to pick someone from the Big Ten over the SEC?
I mean, Chase Young's from the Big Ten. Nick Bosa's from the Big Ten. Joey Bosa's from the Big Ten. Plenty of Big Ten players have done big-time things lately. I get it, Tom. I do. But you know what the problem is? And this is for it's the Lions people. You had the number 2 pick in the draft when the reality is there wasn't somebody worthy of taking at number 2. The only position you could have taken at number 2 that would have made sense value-wise would have been an offensive tackle, and you didn't need it. And, of course, the 1 year you had to pick, there wasn't a quarterback worth a damn to take it with. So you took Hutchinson. I never was comfortable with it. I was Team Thibodeau. We're going to find out who was right over the days, weeks, months, and years ahead. I never wanted Hutchinson, and part of it is I hate the local kid staying here. It's too much pressure. It's not fair to the kid or the family. And we had a little bit of a fear that Aiden had that one magical year. And everybody drafted him based off of, did you see what he did with the barbell? And, oh, my God, the OSU game in the snow. And it's like, cool, but what about the other stuff?
Barbell. I forgot all about that.
I mean, it was. And again, he was a great college senior. He had a great year. He's going to be retired at Michigan. It was awesome. But that ain't got nothing to do with going pro. And right now, he looks physically overwhelmed. Physically, he's getting dominated. That's not what you want on a number 2 pick. No. And I'm not telling you that Trayvon Walker's perfect. He's not. But one looks ready to play, the other doesn't.
No, I'm trying to look at what George Karlaftis is doing for the Chiefs.
Please. He gets to play next to Chris Jones. Pardon me if I think that that's a bit of an advantage.